and family and coworkers. Maybe you just grab something fast for your pets, but there are important things to avoid and great stuff to try out there. So here with details, please welcome back New Day's pet vet, Dr. Kerry Waterhouse from Lake Union Veterinary Clinic, along with his gorgeous dog, Howie. So this is Howie's second appearance.
This is his second appearance. You weren't here for the first one.
So this is the first time I've seen him. Shiloh generally comes.
Shiloh
How old is Howie?
Howie will be 4 next week.
Wow, he's a grown-up. He seems very into what he's got a hold of there.
It's food.
Yeah.
If he can put it in his mouth, it's over.
He's happy about it.
Which is important.
Let's talk about good things that we can give our pets, safe things.
You know, I was trying to make a list of the good, safe things to give to our pets, and I'm the worst person to ask because I get to see the worst of the worst, and I can probably tell you every safe, indestructible toy there is that's wound up not being safe or indestructible.
Right.
So, great. What it really comes down to is how your pet behaves with the treat. So I was even looking at the labels on some of these new ones that I've got. They all say, watch your pet, make sure they're going to eat, not try to ingest the entire thing like we're about to do down here.
Now, do we need to take that away from him?
No, I think we'll be okay
He's
for a second. Yeah.
All right. Somebody in the front row, please keep an eye on him in case he goes through that whole thing.
So, what it comes down to is there's thousands and thousands of dogs who eat bones and bone treats all the time, and they do just fine. There's a big population of dogs that just can't be trusted with them because they're very overly aggressive chewers, so they're going to either break their teeth or swallow a piece that's too big to pass through their intestines, and that's when we run into problems. And so I think with any new toy, any treat, anything we're going to give our pets, we need to make sure that we're watching them to see how they do. Howie and Shiloh don't get any unattended time with their chew toys simply because once something gets too small, they're going to try to swallow it eventually.
Right.
And so it's just I have hundreds of these things that are about this long laying around. And
so you just take them away when they get to be that size?
When they get to be that size, they get tossed. The Kong toy that this was not lodged in very well is another great toy because it's supposedly indestructible, but I have seen pieces chip off with aggressive chewers.
Wow.
But you can put something inside of them so the dog still feels like a lot of dogs won't eat something if they can't get something out of it. And so you can put something inside of it. The bad thing about it is the hole is so large that you can put some peanut butter in there or something. These are also a Kong product, and we've stuffed some treats in there. And hey, Howie, what's that?
Want to try that? Oh.
No,
thanks. I got the real deal.
We're going to take that slimy thing away
Dad!
from you. I know.
Okay.
We'll just put that down here.
So now, can he get the treats out of there?
Yeah, so what he eventually figures out, and it's sort of an interactive toy for him because he has to learn. He's going to try to get to it that way, but he's figured out that if he crunches it hard enough, the treats crumble and then they fall out the end. And so I've watched him, maybe...
So it's a STEM toy for dogs.
Exactly, exactly. I don't know how much we have to work with, but it's good for him to, it keeps him occupied while we're watching TV
but
or
again,
whatever.
we're going to watch him. Now, what about this baby down
So this
here?
one, I've picked up a few of these. They also claim to be semi-indestructible, but they're made out of the same material as fire hoses. And so the fire hose part does really well. It's the stitching that you have to watch out for. So again, they're going to sit down. We usually use this as a throw toy. I don't let the dogs sit down with anything that they can destruct.
So this means when you leave the house, pick this stuff up.
Yeah, I might leave, because I know these guys. I've experienced the Kong toys, and there he goes.
Bye, Howie.
Hey, Howie. Let's get this one.
Ooh, look at this. It's like a bonanza of treats. All right, so things to avoid dogs and cats.
So anything that they can swallow. Going back to the previous segment, we don't want them to be able to swallow any pieces because they will get stuck in the intestines or just cause a lot of irritation going down, which is where we're seeing the new FDA warning with the bone treats that are going out. Cats, especially this time of year, are notorious for getting under the Christmas tree, and they like playing with ribbons, and those ribbons get lodged in their intestines, it's really it's sort of it's a Christmas time syndrome that we see around here.
Poinsettias?
Poinsettias are not as toxic as they're given credit for. They can cause some stomach irritation, but they're not poisonous. Mistletoe, irritation as well. I think our big poisonous plant holiday is Easter with the Easter lilies and that sort of thing. But anything that your cat is going to eat or dog, Chocolate under the Christmas tree
I was
is
just
a
about
big
to say,
one.
yes, that happened at our
they-
house. Thankfully, the dog hid the chocolate everywhere, and we collected it up, and there was nothing missing. She had hidden it.
Yeah, their noses are great, and they're going to smell
Yeah.
that stuff. So if you're giving a gift to somebody who has pets, just tell them, don't want to spoil it, but don't let your dog eat the package. Because chocolate, and there's a lot of coffee products in those as well. So we see a lot of that around this time of year. Just general, the Christmas tree, eating the Christmas tree is really irritating on the mouth. That pine sap or the evergreen sap is really caustic. Some people put additives in the Christmas tree water, and the cats like to drink that. Cats will
Really?
They'll drink out of anything except their water dish a lot of times. And so they find something, and all bets are off with the dog because it's there.
We
and
just
it's
wait
new.
and put the dog's gifts out when we're opening gifts because
Right.
she knows exactly which ones are hers.
There you
and,
go.
you
And
know,
I hope
has
they
at
smell
it.
different than the ones you're giving.
Apparently,
Yeah.
they do. Anything else you can think of that we need to be careful about? Are any vets open on Christmas Day? if
There
they
are
eat something
several
that-
24-hour clinics all over up and down the I-5 corridor. So make sure you know where they're at so that if you do need them, they're great resources too. You can just call and say, hey, my dog ate this. And a lot of times there's actually an ASPCA there's an Animal Poison Control Center.
Yeah.
So you can call them and they can tell you, be it a human medication or artificial sweeteners are another big one that we're seeing a lot of, before I forget that one. But
Okay.
if your
Keep
dog or
those out of
cat
reach.
ate something, you can give them a call. I would just call the local 24-hour clinic. Just make sure you know
All
where
right.
they're at, and they will be open during the holidays.
And we'll list a few of them on our
And
website just to make
definitely.
it easy for people. Thank you very much. Thanks,
Not a
Howie.
problem.
Way
Howie.
to go, buddy. Still ahead, a photographic journey for peace right after this.
Yeah!